So today I decided to switch up my routine. Normally, the coffee shop that I'm at now, it's literally like 2-minute walk from my house, and usually I walk down, go to the gym first. I didn't go to the gym today. I worked out at my house. Usually that's on my nose. Okay. Anyway, usually I walk downtown, go to the gym, and then go to the coffee shop because everything's down there. So I'm doing something different today. I'm coming here. I worked out at the house, a small workout, and then I came here first because it's so convenient to come to this coffee shop. So this is a new scene. It's pretty cool. This is like a cool little nook area. It's like seating, which is really nice. You know, the vibe in here is really cool. In this neighborhood, I'm all about neighborhood. Like, I'm really big on like urban living, and the reason why I'm big on urban living because I love neighborhood. I love the connection of walking down the street and knowing people's names. Like that fuels me. That fuels me. So I'm here for a little bit, and stay tuned. Running a global team is really hard. It is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. It takes a certain type of cadence, a certain type of drum beat to make sure everybody follows the line to the vision, to the bigger impact, what impact you want to make. And as I'm sitting here, I had this idea, it's been ruminating in my mind, and creating a playbook. You know, begin to create or document a playbook on how I want to approach running a global team. And while I was sitting here, it just boom, it came to me. Let me show you really quick. So this was the idea, coming up with a playbook for internal use only, called "There's No I in Team," a guide to running high-performing global teams. And what's ironic about another I, about the whole saying "There's no I in team," but there really is a lot of I's in team. These are a set of principles that I'm laying out here. Internet, ideation, identity, intention, imagine, incentives, implement, iterate, improve, innovate, impact. These set of things, when you're running a global team, are super important because everybody are individuals. And because of that, the collective of those individuals make up a team. So it's really important to get every individual connected to these principles, these overarching principles, to create that team. So I don't know, I'm just spitballing and I'm brainstorming. I'm just sharing it with you as it's happening. I don't know where this is gonna go, but just wanted to share it with you. There's no I in team. Hey, that was a really good change of pace. I met a really cool guy in there. His name was Mark. He's in the IT field. And we were just jamming about innovation and some of the work that he does with youth in the city, where he does a workshop every year, one time a year, to help people that are in Allentown, kids that are in Allentown, and expose them to the IT industry. So really cool to meet people. That's what coffee shops are all about. It's like my social network, my social network, and it was really cool being in there. That was a good change of pace. I'm gonna have to do that more, go there more often, and start my day there more often. So heading to my office now. I have a meeting coming up at 3. Like I said, I think one of the episodes, my first office hours is today. So it's going to be cool to see how that goes. I'm still working through the format and what exactly it's going to be, and how I'm going to use that as a part of the process. But stay tuned. I'll let you know more about it and how it goes. All right. I just got to my office. I have my first office hours coming up in about 10 minutes. And I was gonna go on with like this formalized plan or a formalized agenda, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I have some general talking points, but I'm gonna keep it open because it's only 15 minutes. It's only 15 minutes. It's only to really get to see if there's a connection, see if there's sync, and see where I can serve, him through any of the companies that I work with in the portfolio, and vice versa. See if there's any where areas where he can help me at. So I'll let you I'll keep you in a loop on how that goes. I might even bring you into it to watch me go through the process and learn as I go on what this can be. But I know my intention is to build a network, a community of people of like mind, of people of like mind. So I know that's the intention. That's the intention that I'm setting going into it. But this is an experiment. I'm running this experiment to see, if anything comes out of it. So stay tuned.
I've recently been getting into kind of acquisitions and looking to purchase companies.
Okay.
My experience, I've done a lot of different things, sales management. At the age of 30, I started I built an insurance agency. It
Yeah.
was an insurance district, but kind of the same idea.
Mm-hmm.
And built a book of business. And like 6 years later, I sold it for a good kind of six-figure profit.
Nice.
A year later, at the age of 37, I started a manufacturing company,
Mm-hmm.
completely different from insurance. Insurance was kind of, sales and marketing, and manufacturing was just completely different. I
Yeah.
had no clue how to do it, but I just kind of bootstrapped that business. And I just knew that I worked well with my hands and I wanted to do something like that. So what we do is we make outdoor games. We make cornhole, ladder golf,
Oh, nice.
tumble towers, just a bunch of different kind of outdoor stuff.
Yep.
And after about 4 or 5 years, I kind of plateaued with the company. If
Mm-hmm.
if you're know what it's like to run a business and to own a
Yes.
business, at a certain point, you just kind of, I wasn't really growing, and I, just needed to scale. But I learned that kind of a good way to grow is through acquisition and buying other
Yes.
companies, and so what I did is I bought a printing company.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a small printing company, but it allowed us to kind of add other products. It allowed us to kind of customize some of our existing products, and
Yep.
so we were able to kind of grow that way. I also bought a like a textile company, like a sewing company,
Yes.
and we were able to then make like carrying cases and bags and just other products that kind of complemented what we were already doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of through that process of just kind of buying a couple companies, I realized that, like, hey man, this is like a thing, and
Yeah.
so I've been looking to get more into kind of acquisitions and just kind of acquiring companies, and just kind of growing through either acquisition or just buying kind of standalone platform companies that I could grow and maybe roll up,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately kind of exit in a couple of years if I can grow them, and that kind of thing. So this journey has I've only been doing this for about 3 months. I
Mm-hmm.
hooked up with this kind of mastermind, this M&A mastermind, where
Yep.
it's a community of investors that do this. And it's like a part training, part mastermind, hooking up with other investors that are doing it. And so
Mm-hmm.
just really interesting. And so I've just been reaching out. I've been looking for to acquire a company here, and I'm kind of trying to figure out exactly what my criteria is and kind of what my buy box, or like what I'm
Yep.
looking for specifically. I'm agnostic in many ways, but I also want to kind of focus on something specific. I'm just trying to figure that out, but
Yes.
throwing stuff out, but also looking to kind of network and meet people like yourself, and because other thing that I've kind of learned is that I've had some conversations with a few kind of owners that are open-minded to selling their business,
Mm-hmm.
and a few of them are they're not quite ready to sell, right? They're just not,
Yeah.
kind of, the revenue isn't quite there, their marketing, their operations aren't quite ready. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've pivoted also to this kind of consulting kind of thing, and consulting for either just kind of a fee, or consulting for equity, looking
Yes.
to help them to kind of get to a place to where they can eventually sell, because a lot of them do want to sell, but they're
They
just
do.
not ready
Yeah.
at the moment. So let's say that we can get them ready to sell in 2-3 years, and if we kind of get some equity in the deal, we all win at the end, right? If we can help them
Exactly. Yep.
increase their valuation. So I noticed that you have some marketing experience, some sales experience, it seems, and It sounds like maybe you've acquired some companies as well. So I just want, yeah, what have you been up to?
Yeah, so let me give you some backstory. So I really got into this game in 2017. So I was working with a digital agency, and when I came on board, it was just they were just doing like regular services like website design and some of those things. And
Yeah.
me and the founder put our brains together, and we came up with this concept where we were able to create, like we call it, like a virtual accelerator where we would work for equity basically, and
Okay.
we were very laser focused on early stage. Like our target person was that person that's working in a cubicle, but they're senior level executives, senior level, so they have income, that work on spreadsheets and want to turn their spreadsheets into a application.
Okay.
Yeah, so they want to, because they're so deep in the weeds of the process, they see an opportunity to build something because maybe they're managing it on spreadsheets or they're doing it manually. So we were really trying to find that needle in the haystack. So that's where this began. So what we would do is we would charge, I think we were charging like $150 an hour for our services. We would charge them 50% off of that, so about $75 an hour. And then we would get equity per sprint. So for
Okay.
instance, yeah, so if they're building out an MVP, we would say, okay, from this sprint to this sprint, we get 0.03% equity. And we would do that up to 3% equity. So that was like my first array into that. And then, me and my partner kind of parted ways. And I was like in this desert of sorts, right? Like trying to figure out my next move. And then right after that, I started working with a venture debt firm. And it was 8 of us. It was a startup. We raised $147 million. 10
Wow.
million. Yeah, 10 million of that was in equity, and 137 of that was in debt. And basically what the idea was, it was built, it was for SaaS companies, software as a service companies. We
Right.
were doing like revenue-based financing. So it was, they were able to receive X amount based off of their monthly receivables. So we built, our tech team built like a credit score for these SaaS companies, and they can get money in 24 to 48 hours. So basically,
Nice.
that was when I was like, wow, there's a lot of money out here. That was when, like,
Yeah.
when I was on and what I did on that team is I was building out, I guess you can call it the marketing engine, the deal flow engine. So I did events, we did micro community. So I was I was traveling all over the place, shaking hands and kissing babies with founders. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like building out
Yeah.
these micro communities so that we can fund these. So I really got really into it. And after our raise, I was like, because during the time I was working, a part of my workflow I was doing on spreadsheets. So I was like, I want to automate this. So long story short, last year, I pitched AI powered marketing matching platform. So if you're a director of marketing, you want to run an event, you don't have enough people to run it. What do you do? Like how do you supplement that? So I wanted to build a platform to fill that need. So I was able to get into the top 1% for funding. So I was going to get a $500,000 funding to build this out. What happened was the Silicon Valley Bank run, March of 2023.
Silicon Valley. Say that again.
The bank run, the Silicon Valley Bank run.
Oh, that happened like 2 years ago, or
Yeah, it was March.
yeah.
I'll never forget it. So after that, like last year was really like a rough year for me.
Yeah.
Just doing consulting and kind of like trying to find my feet. So where I'm at now, just to fast forward, where I'm at now, I was like, to what you kind of figured out is acquisition, entrepreneurship through acquisition. So I
Yeah.
put together a holding company called Telos FX, TELOS FX. I'll send you my
Sure.
my website and everything after this.
Yeah.
And basically, I started off with a digital a web development firm that's based in Africa. They do amazing work. I was able to do it in like a seller financing way, so I didn't have to put much up front, but able to work towards the full acquisition of it. So that was my first like real acquisition, and then my second one is more of I'm a minority stake. I have a minority stake in it, but there's options in it to have, you know, up to 25% ownership of it. So had
Sure.
to be really creative on how I got in. So, but what I'm really excited about and why this meeting, you know, happened is I started a deal flow engine for a flywheel of sorts called which is it's my YouTube vlog. So basically what I do since I've started, which was same time as you about 3 months ago, I've been documenting my process
Hmm.
from zero. And I'm just and if you watch, I have 4 12-season episodes of this. And
Okay.
yeah, so I'm just pulling out my camera and just documenting the, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. And what's happening, Ruben, is it's becoming an organic engine of deal flow, of capital. Like I'm not raising any capital right now, like because I had like 2 people that were interested in, hey, you know, to put some funds behind what I'm doing, but I'm like, nope, I'm bootstrapping this as long as possible
Yeah.
because I want to prove out my model. I want to be able to say if I'm going to sell it, like the companies eventually, I want to be able to
Yeah.
prove that I can get a good IRR, that you know that you're going to get a good return on the on your investment. But I'm building that foundation right now.
Yeah.
So so the name of, you know, my name is Tremayne, so it's TRMYN, which is transform your reality, master your now. Transform reality, master
Nice.
your now. That's like the acronym, but it's become like, it's like I said, it's only been 2 months, but Ruben, like the way that this is organically drawing people into this ecosystem of companies that I'm building and acquiring, it's been an amazing experiment. And like with the call, like what I'm trying to do, like what you're doing is networking too, like networking. Who can
Yeah.
I network? Like, because there might be a time like you're looking at a deal that I might be interested in. I'm looking at a deal that you may be interested in. But so that's one angle. Then the other angle is, and I told you this in our message, is I'm looking to, with the portfolio companies that we have, looking to work with like these boutique M&A shops, you know, 1 person, 2 person, 3 person teams that once they acquire the team, they're dealing with legacy systems. So on the front end, we can help with like branding, development to kind of like refurbish your website, give it, you know, make it
Hmm.
more responsive. And then on the back end, like setting up your CRM, are you using HubSpot? And kind of this,
Yeah.
I call it a brand and revenue engine for people like yourself that are acquiring companies. And, you know, think of us like a property manager. Like if you're acquiring real estate, like you have a property manager that if anything goes down wrong, you have somebody to fix it. So the way
Yeah.
I'm positioning right now, the companies that I'm working that I have in the portfolio is like that. I want to work alongside of boutique M&A shops so so it's almost like an in-house component for them. So if they need a
Hmm.
website, like, because that increases the valuation if you're going to end up selling it, right? So what does your website look like? Is it SEO aligned? You know, all those things go into it um, to increase the valuation from jump right from the beginning. So that's how I'm positioning the 2 companies that I'm working with right now. Right now, just to align with like some of the people that you're networking with at the, you know, in the M&A mastermind, and give them that resource and give it to them because most people are bootstrapping it and giving it to them with a lot of value at a reasonable, you know, cost.
Dude, man, you're up to so many things, man. It's so interesting. I'm actually just writing notes,
Yeah.
handwriting them. But man, dude, if I could just go back and there's a lot to unpack, but so you say that you got into this when you got in with the digital marketing company,
Yes.
and you were taking a small equity
Mhm.
in the kind of the clients you were working with. They were just kind of individuals, and you were helping them create, like you're developing like apps or applications or some kind of software and helping
Yeah.
them
So
because
they're
they were working
MVP.
like on.
Yeah, so they're minimal viable products. So our
Okay.
goal was to help get something in their hand that they can show. Rather than them having a pitch deck. So how can we offer something to them for $10,000 or less so that they can invest in a product and application so they can, begin to get user feedback. And then from that user feedback, they can take that data and then pitch an angel investor and say, hey, I was able to get X amount of people onto the platform. This is the feedback that we've got. We were able to generate X amount of revenue, and to see if they can get funding, from these minimal viable products. So that was the business model. It was a very innovative business model 7 years ago.
What's the product though? I'm just wondering, what are these clients you're working with? What were they? What was the product? I mean, I'm sure they were all different, but what were they working?
So the one that we probably had the most success with, there was a team of two people. One was an engineer, the other one was a marketing person, and they built this sensor. It was called Fresh Fridge, and they built a sensor to put in Tupperware that will let people know whether or not their food was spoiled. Yeah, so the sensor was very innovative in the sense that they knew at what temperature it needed to be, if it's lettuce or whatever the case may be. And then from the sensor, it would shoot back to an app. Hey, you need to get some new lettuce. And then we connected it to Instacart so they can immediately order it right there. So that team came to us because they understood the engineering of it, but they needed someone to build out the dashboards and the software.
Okay.
Because they were kind of they had a really rinky-dink soft, it was they were patching something together. So they brought us in to build the application piece of it, so that they had a proper app to take the market. So things like that, and they both work full-time jobs. They both work full-time jobs. They were building it on because they were high-income earners. Both work full-time jobs. And we were able to build that for them. So that was our ideal client.
That's how you got into the whole idea of I guess, you're not exactly acquiring a company, but you're acquiring a piece of the equity.
A piece of the equity, and we would charge, and we would take 50% off of our standard service rates
in order to justify the equity that you're getting. Yeah, 100%. That's interesting. I guess equity only works if you're able to kind of sell, or you're able to kind of get some funding or something, right? So I don't know if that ever happened for you, and then you went to work for a venture firm.
Yeah,
and you were and so they raised a lot of money, and you're saying that the role that you played there was deal flow. So you were basically bringing the investors in.
Yeah,
you were doing networking
so we used media. Media was it was a media-led approach. So the founder, the CEO, had a podcast, very popular podcast in the SaaS world. So he was building it up. So it's a long story on how I even started working with him, but he was doing his first event in New York City. And I called him up and said, hey, do you need any help setting it up or whatever? Long story short, I volunteered, and over 4 years, it started off as volunteer, and then he brought me on, full time.
You got to get in somehow, right?
Yes, because in order to get into the room, I think the companies had to be doing 17 million ARR. So the really in annual revenue. So
annual recurring revenue.
Recurring revenue, yeah. So these were mid-market companies, and I just wanted to get into the room. Long story short, did a great job, and we started to build this event engine where people, where it turned into 2 flagship events, one in New York, one in Austin, Texas, and then I was putting together micro events globally.
And the events, was he selling something, or the events were
they were just raw
fundraising?
The cool thing about the events were they were 15 minutes. They were 15 minutes, and the founder had to show revenue. They had to show what were the templates they used to close a deal. That's why they were so popular, because it wasn't fluff. We weren't selling anything. And that was the engine, because we would insert our services within it in a very seamless way. It wasn't like we were plastering it all over the place. It was very organic. We were teaching, we were educating founders in the SaaS world. And
So
in
the
that,
event was kind of a learning. It was like a workshop or something, or
yeah,
some
it
kind
was
of.
definitely, yeah, it was definitely workshop. It was definitely
Yeah,
workshop. So that's
interesting.
where my vlog comes in at, because I know the power of
Yeah,
media and how to build deal flow around media and just documenting the process. Just
and it's just
documenting
information. I mean, it's
everything.
information. It sounds like your vlog is just, and I guess like that those conferences or those workshops you guys were doing, it
Yeah.
was just kind of like learning information. But through that, you're able to network and get deal flow kind of indirectly, I guess.
Yes. So that's what I'm doing
Yeah,
for my own practice right
yeah.
now. I see the power of it.
And so I guess that leads into, because man, you're doing a lot of stuff, but when you were a part of those events, that's where I guess it led to you having the idea of creating that AI powered you mentioned like people that create events but don't have all of the team to do it. You were going to create
Yes.
some kind of AI system. It didn't quite work out, but I guess
No.
that's where you got the idea
That's
from, right?
yeah. So what's
Yeah.
interesting is the way I'm building my whole. And if you look at my vlog, you'll see it. It's all AI powered. So I use one platform that so I create all my departments. So like from sourcing and deal origination, finance, demand generation. I create little AI agents, and
Mm.
I'm building the different brains of each of them. And so everything I'm doing from this perspective, from building up my holding company, is all AI power. It's AI enabled, I call
So
it.
your team is AI, man. You don't have to work
Yes.
with so how do you create these AI GPTs? Is it just using Chat GPT, or there's like
No, there's a platform, a specific platform
uh,
that I use called Sana AI, SANA AI, that I use that allows me to be able to do that and be an AI enabled company. And
nice.
we're building that from zero, from scratch. So anyone
That's
that comes
awesome.
on our team, they will be not gifted, but they'll be given this agent to grow and learn from and learn with. So
That's cool,
anyone
man.
that joins just to 100x the team, right? So it
Yeah.
100x the team right from day one.
So right now, what's your goal right now? So it sounds like you're looking for acquisition. You're doing that, and and that's what you're kind of logging. That's your YouTube log. Is just kind of your acquisition journey.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
so that's the goal. My North Star is like with business is how can I meet the most interesting people in the world? This is just a
Yeah.
vehicle. This is just a vehicle for me to say, how can I meet the most interesting people in the world? That's
Yeah.
my North Star. That's my North
Okay.
Star. Everything else will fall from that. The wealth creation and all those other things will fall from
Yeah.
that. But that's the North Star. Like
I guess it's who you know, right? So if you know successful people, then good things happen, you know? So
yes, it's all about connection, especially as we come into an AI world. Humanizing yourself is going to be your advantage.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't
yeah.
have like the persona, like I'll give you an example. If you notice Mark Zuckerberg is humanizing himself.
Ah, right. He's
He's
doing
wearing cool
MMA now.
clothes and like
Yeah.
he's not wearing
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
great t-shirt. Like why the question is why is he doing that?
Hmm. Yeah.
He's
And he's
building
the he's
it.
the he's the main AI guy right
He
now, or one of
got
the,
it.
but still though, he's still, like you say, he's still trying to him. Yeah.
So he has a
Interesting.
PR. So it's not just him. He has a PR team that's around him that's stylizing that publicly.
Yeah.
So if you see where the wind's going, like, oh, I see the play here. You have to figure out a way because there's gonna be a premium when you talk about consulting. There's gonna be a premium on human connection, on human
Yeah.
consult. It's gonna be a premium on that. But most tasks are gonna be AI based.
Just because AI is smart, but it can't there's certain things that it can't do that human beings can do. And if,
Exactly.
I guess as more the new generation, and I've got kids,
Yeah.
they grew up with cell phones, man, and computers and internet, and now AI, they're going
Yeah.
to be less connected, personally. And so
Yes.
the person that has those people skills, will, may have that advantage. So I understand what you're saying there.
Yeah.
So you're looking, but your acquisitions, you're acquiring digital marketing companies, and you're rolling them up. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So my strategy is right at this point, phase one.
Yeah.
Phase one is to build to acquire agencies.
Yeah.
That so when we bring in like SaaS companies or AI companies, we already have in-house. We have those resources in-house for marketing and all those different things. So phase one right now is agencies. So that's why sharing those resources with other like independent M&A boutique shops that one person, 3-person teams that are doing this, but need to be able to fix a website really quick and not think about it. Because you want to make sure that it's profitable. That's the whole point. And it's cash flowing. Yeah.
You acquired the digital marketing company in Africa. So how did you figure out that whole process? I mean, was that your first acquisition? Did you
that was the first one. Yeah. So and maybe on another call we can do, get deeper in that. But it was just like, because I know we only said 15 minutes. It was just I spent the last
trial and error. Did you just figure it out, or did the AI hook you up? AI kind of gave you,
Ruben, I'm telling you, what I'm doing now, I would not be able to do at the speed 5 years ago. I'm telling you right now, like the speed in which these things are happening over the last 3-4 weeks has been incredible. And I wouldn't, because I tried to do acquisition about 4 years ago, and I didn't know when, like it just wasn't happening. It wasn't connecting for me at that time.
So you created an AI like kind of M&A expert or something that could just break it down, or like an AI like legal like attorney that just freaking just broke it down for you and created the contracts, because there's so much that goes into it, right?
My favorite line is, explain it to me like I'm a 10-year-old.
Right. That's awesome, man.
Because
I've got to,
that speeds up learning. Like, because let's be honest, like all the legal stuff is just to keep certain like the people out of it. They make it so complicated.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's
you can pay them, so you can pay them, right? Yeah.
You got it. So break this down like a 10-year-old. And then I get that. But now the goal is, when I do have on my expert team of lawyers, my lawyer, all this stuff, I'm already going into that office like knowing exactly what I need.
Yeah, so that way
pretty much
you can call BS, or you already are going in there with the contracts, or maybe just reviewing it, and you already know what you're looking for, and it'll save you some money on that, just because you're already going in there with
and not even the money,
templates,
the
time.
I optimize for time, like I optimize for time. Like, how do I say like time? Speed is the advantage right now. Speed. Yeah, speed.
Well, I mean, like I say, I actually have a website. I just recently created my my holding company and my website, so I'm a little late here, but I do have connections with, like, in this mastermind that I'm a part of. I think there's about 20,000 investors. It's a bunch of people that are just in it, they're kind of constantly bringing new people in. They bring in, they do a good job of marketing, and the creator of the thing, his name is Roland Frazier. Maybe you've heard of him, but it's called Epic. You can look him up. But anyway, they're always bringing in new people. It seems like every couple weeks they bring in a new cohort of about maybe 40, 50 people.
Oh, wow.
But these guys, they might be looking, because that's the one thing that I did right away, was I set up a website, to your point, and just kind of was like, because I feel like you don't have a business until you have a website, right? If you don't have a website, you don't have a business, So I set mine up right away. But, I know that these guys are probably looking to do something like that, set up a website, So you offer website and then kind of marketing or marketing kind of the service, the website itself.
What I'll do after this call, I'll send you the websites of both companies, and then you'll be able to see like straight away what it is that we offer.
And then I also wonder just how else we could work together. I mean, I could definitely maybe I could use your service to market, because I've got the website. I don't really market it. I just set it up a couple of months ago, and I haven't really done any marketing with the website itself yet. But also I can definitely refer you out to some of these other guys that are in my network and
Oh,
see if they're
cool.
looking for websites or whatever else.
Okay.
And also, like I say, like I've actually had a couple consulting conversations with a couple owners,
Mm-hmm.
and the one thing that I've found is that, what's everybody looking for? They're looking to grow their company. They're looking for more revenue. They're looking for
Yes.
marketing, right?
Yep.
And so I was like, well, I actually have an e-commerce store as well, so I have experience with digital marketing. I
Yeah.
don't own a digital marketing company though, so I'm like, I understand it, but I don't really own a company. I was like, maybe I
Yeah.
should acquire. I was thinking, to your point, maybe I
Mm-hmm.
should acquire a digital marketing company that I can bring to the table,
Yeah.
or I could partner with someone that has a digital marketing company that I could just kind of do a joint venture on, or bring in as a consultant. I could
Yep.
either like maybe pay you just kind of the market rate or whatever you charge for digital
Mm-hmm.
marketing, or bring someone like yourself in as a kind of a joint venture where we could both get equity,
Yes.
help these companies with their marketing,
Mm-hmm.
help them grow their revenue, help them grow the valuation, take a part of the equity, and
Mm-hmm.
then in 3 or 4 years, exit, and we all make money.
That went really good. Like, that went better than expected. And some of the assumptions that I made going into this were pretty spot on in terms of like how to leverage this office hours, and it's was pretty spot on. And I'm just, wow, that was good. I'm glad that was good. That's all I'm gonna say. I just literally just this closing. I'm just like, wow, that was really good. That was really good. We're on to something. We're on to something. Stay tuned. We're on to something. If you're watching it and you made it this far in the video, I'm telling you right now, we're on to something. Stay tuned. Subscribe. If you're watching this and you didn't subscribe before, I'm telling you right now, subscribe now. Subscribe now, because we're on to something. Okay, one of the cool things about the platform I'm using, this is the meeting right here. So the AI assistant joined us in the meeting, summarized the meeting. And what I'm gonna do is, right here, I'm gonna say draft an email. Yeah, draft an email regarding this meeting. Draft, let me get, sorry for the camera, give me a second. Follow up email. And I can get more specific, but I'm just gonna see what it gives me now, and then I'll probably work it. Okay, yeah, so it's okay. I'm gonna go back and customize a lot more. So what I decided to do is just to create a discovery call. So right after that 15-minute office hour, we kind of get a gauge on like if there's synergy there. So it was really clear to me that there was synergy there. So what I did was I put together a really quick another Calendly for more of a discovery, to go deeper into the weeds of things. But like I said, you're watching this build the processes right before your eyes. That's the value here. You're seeing it right before your eyes, right before your eyes on how the process is being built. The biggest challenges of running a business is cash flow management, and to be honest, in past ventures for myself, I haven't been the greatest at that. So I was thinking like that has to change. So a good friend of I heard about this book. I'm going to show you really quick, called Profit First, and I first heard about it a year and a half ago. There's a guy named Andrew Wilkinson who's building a private equity firm called Tiny Capital. He posted it on his Twitter post, and I bookmarked it. It's like, okay, I gotta read this book. I don't know when I'm gonna read it, but I gotta read it. And then recently, within the last few months, a really good friend of mine who has a real estate investment firm pushed me over the edge to actually like get it and to read it, because he and to the point where he gifted me the audiobook. He gifted me the audiobook, and I was blown away by the concept. It's really simple, but it's counterintuitive to how we've been taught accounting. And accounting and like that's not my strong suit at all. But I can get better. I can always get better. So let me show you. So this is the book right here. It's called Profit First by Michael. I can't even pronounce his last name. But anyway, it's a really good book. And I usually don't carry around extra stuff like in my backpack, but I'm actually carrying this book around because I want this to be a lifestyle. Profit First as a lifestyle. And maybe in another video, and basically, and this is it right here, transform your business from a cash-eating monster to a money-making machine. And maybe on another video, I'll do like a quick summary of this book and how I'm implementing it into the companies that I'm working with, starting with my mind first, and then, you know, getting a mastery over it, and then implement it in companies that I work with. So this is one of the resources that I recommended, the first acquisition, Profit First, because it's super important. One of the things that I talked about when I initially started the 6-week accelerator, for the 6-week acquisition accelerator, the purpose of it was to build confidence and trust on both sides. So it's interesting because trust is being tested at every single corner, because you're building systems, and those systems are being tested. Those systems are being tested, and you know, communicating over and over and over again the process is very important. And that's what I'm actually doing that right now. I'm stayed behind a little bit later because I'm trying to explain something. So I'm using every method. I'm doing a Loom video. I'm doing voice messages, texting, and just trying to break through to kind of get some clarity, some understanding, as we're building these systems out. And they're getting tested. They're getting tested. So that's what I'm trying to solve for right now, is just the communication, to make sure we're really laying down the process correctly, and that it can be repeatable. It's a repeatable process. So hopefully I should be out of here soon. It's about 20 minutes past time that I would normally stay, but I just got to get this done and get it out the door so that we're clear on everything. The ball at, and where I take 100% accountability is, I didn't realize the process. I didn't realize it was just 2 revisions. I thought it was unlimited revisions until we got it correct. So I am done for the day. I had to stay back a little bit longer than I anticipated, but it's all good. If there's anything in this video that resonate with you, please reach out. I opened up my calendar for office hours to get to know you a little bit more. I had my first office, as you saw in the video, I had my first open office today, which it went great, better than expected, and looking to have more as we go along. With that said, I'm out. Peace.